Blue light is bad for sleep. Is this a giant lie? Hey, it's Coach Vulcan, and today I want to speak with you about blue light specifically, because if right now you're watching this video on YouTube and it's late at night, you should stop watching immediately. Just close the window, close your laptop, close your phone, go to bed. If everything that people have been talking about the last 10 or so years is true about blue light, you should do that. But what I want to invite you to do with me today is this. I want to play the sleep murder game with you. What's the sleep murder game? This is a game where I just invented it right now. So going through our episode today with our next episode on sleep series, we're gonna examine a new situation. A person who goes through sleep deprivation, bad sleep, and the usual suspect again is blue light. But what if blue light is innocent? What if there is another bad? What if the killer is somebody else? Well, if that's true, that would mean at night you can calmly watch YouTube, you can calmly watch Netflix, you can do whatever the fuck you like on your phone or your laptop. Doesn't that sound nice? It definitely sounds nice to me. So, before we go there, comment down below, what do you think right now before we dive deep into this topic? Comment down below, what do you think? Is blue light the main, is blue light a killer or an innocent victim? Comment down below and let's begin and find out. You and me, at the end, we're gonna find out exactly the answer to that question. So, with our story today, we begin with Julia. Julia, last time we met her, she had a very bad conversation with her dad. Specifically, her dad told her she was a failure, that she should stop her business and that she should go home, find a normal 9-to-5 job, that she wasn't cut for business, that this wasn't her deal. And now Julia, she's at home in her kitchen, at her kitchen table, and she's eating lots of chocolate chip cookies mixed with tears falling down her cheeks, because she feels sad because of everything her dad told her last time. And when she went to bed that night, she got up, she got on her laptop, she watched a lot of Netflix, then she removed that and she went to sleep. And that night, or before we go there, so she watched, let's say, she watched 3 episodes of Game of Thrones that night, and as she did, she could not stop thinking about her conversation with her dad that she had before that. She was overthinking, and she was watching Tyrion and the other characters playing around, but she was also thinking her conversation, and finally she just threw her laptop and went to bed. That night, Oasis, the sleep vampire, she walked inside her Julia's house. She went inside her bedroom. She crept up to her bed. She leaned down and she pierced her poison teeth into Julia's neck. And that night, Julia did not fall asleep. On the next night, Julia, after 8 hours of being awake and rolling around in bed, she decided, okay, you know who killed my sleep? It was that blue light from my laptop. So she removed her laptop, she gave it to a friend, and she thought to herself, okay, this night I'm gonna fall asleep. So without a laptop, this night she went to bed, this time using her phone. So she just scrolled around on her phone and she thought to herself, hey, I wanna remove the blue screen, I'm gonna insert this app. So that's what she did. And this time After about 2-3 hours on her phone, then she went to bed. This time, Oasis, the sleep vampire, came to her again. And do you think, before I tell you what happened, do you think Julia slept that night? She installed an app that removes blue light from her phone. So that should help, right? Well, here's what happened. Oasis came in again. With her, she smiled looking at Julia. With her sharp teeth, she went to her bed. And as she did, she again, for the second night, she pierced her teeth into Julia's neck, causing her another sleepless night. The next morning, Julia felt like a 90-year-old grandmother. She had no energy after 48 hours of no sleep. Have you been there? Having been through 48 hours of no sleep, I've definitely been there. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't wish it to my worst enemy. It sucks. No vampire puns intended, but it sucks. So, what did Julia do now? Now Julia started getting a little bit paranoid. She threw her cell phone in the garbage bin, her smartphone, and she got one of those old ones, those 81s cell phones, where you can only text and call people. You cannot install apps on these phones. They still make phones like that. I am not joking. So she got that because that doesn't have blue light. So she thought to herself, well, now I'm gonna go to sleep this night. Third's the charm, right? So that's what she thought to herself. And that night she just watched a little bit of TV on her TV screen. After, let's say, 3 hours of watching TV, she was still thinking also back to her conversation with her dad, how her dad had told her that she was a failure. And that night she went to bed again, and this time she was also thinking, I hadn't slept 2 nights, I better sleep this time. Like, I threw away my phone, I threw away my laptop. This time I am going to sleep. If I'm not gonna sleep, I don't know what I'm fucking gonna do. So did she sleep that night? Well, for a third time that night, Oasis, the sleep vampire, she came into Julia's bedroom, and this time, as she crept to her bed, she pierced her neck so easily. She sucked her sleep away once again. Now, what did Julia do after that, after 72 hours of no sleep? What did Julia do? Did Julia finally manage to get back to normal sleep, or did she fall prey to the sleep vampire, to insomnia? Well, before we go into that, I want to talk about a little bit. I want to introduce somebody else. I want to introduce to the stage Russell Foster. Russell Foster is a director of sleep and circadian neuroscience at Oxford. Yeah, that was a tongue twister. Director of sleep and circadian neuroscience at Oxford. So basically what this professor did at Oxford, for the last 30 years, this sleep researcher, he tangled with one topic: light and sleep, and specifically, does blue light kill sleep? Is blue light the killer, or is there another killer? Is blue light actually innocent? So that's what he's been researching for the last 30 years. And after going through thousands and thousands of research papers, what do you think he found out? He actually found out the answer to that question, and the answer was this: blue light is no more harmful than fluorescent light, than the light from your light bulbs. That's it. That was his finding. But now there was another problem. Does he speak up? Does he reveal that blue light is not the killer, but that blue light is innocent, or does he keep shut? Because if he reveals the secret, what does typically happen to researchers when they reveal a big secret like that? Well, what happened to Copernicus? Do you know Copernicus? Most people don't know about him, but he was the man who, before him, people thought that Earth, or that, let me make sure I get this right, we have the Earth and we have the Sun. For thousands of years, people thought that the sun goes around the Earth. Copernicus, he said, no, it is the Earth that goes around the sun. And when he said that, do you think people said, wow, you are amazing, that is such a big revelation, thank you, that helps us so much? Did they say that? No. In fact, Pope, who was it? Pope Paul V, when he heard what Copernicus said, he told him, I am sending you to jail. He sent him to jail. Can you believe that? Now today, of course, our Professor Foster, for speaking up, he will not get sent to jail, but everybody, all of his colleagues and friends, they're saying that blue light is the killer of sleep. He's the only person who says that that's not true. So if he does speak up, he runs the risk of everybody laughing at him. So what did Foster do? Did he speak up, or did he decide to sweep that finding under the rug? What did he do? Foster spoke up. In fact, he did just, as of me, this recording is gonna come somewhere in December. He just spoke up in September, just 3 months ago. He revealed his research, and there was an uproar. I'm not gonna go into detail, I already went too much into detail there, but this man is one of those people that really inspires me, because in a situation like that, most people, they would hide away, but no, he goes, my gut is telling me I gotta reveal this, I gotta share this, and he did it. He is what I call a gunslinger. He acts with certainty and decisiveness on his mission, revealing blue light is not the killer. Now, however, this professor also said that there is an actual killer. There is somebody who acts as a sleep killer from all of these thousands of research papers that he went through. He discovered who the real killer is. Who is the real killer? Well, before... Excuse me, just a moment. Before we reveal who that is, let's go back to Julia for a moment. What is Julia up to? Let me just check real quick. Yes, what did Julia do after 3 sleepless nights? Finally, she thought to herself, okay, she felt in her gut that what she was doing was not right, so she decided, fuck this. She took back her laptop, she took back her phone, and that night she went to bed, she went in bed, she opened her laptop, she enjoyed watching some nice, funny YouTube videos, she took a plate with some cookies, she ate them up, and then when she was done, she closed her laptop and she took a book. She read a little bit from that, she read Dracula that night, and even though it was kind of a scary story, she actually laughed at it. Vampires are funny. And then After she was done with the cookies and the YouTube and a little bit of fun with the book, she felt nice, she felt peaceful. She thought to herself, this night I feel good. I feel tired also, so I'm gonna go to sleep. And that is what she did. She placed her hand on her pillow, and that night, Oasis came to her for the 4th time in a row. When she crept to Julia's bed, and this time she again pressed the tips of her fangs to Julia's neck. And did they pierce? Well, before we find that out, let's talk about what was the cause. What was the cause of bad sleep for Julia? And who was the killer that our Professor Foster found out? Well, the killer, the sleep killer in today's episode is this: overstimulation. After going through thousands and thousands of research papers, Foster, realizing that blue light is not the sleep killer, he found out the reason that people couldn't sleep at night after using their laptops or phones wasn't because of blue light, it was because of overstimulation. What does that mean? What does that mean for you? This means this. If you are, let's say, in bed and you have your laptop on your knees, you're holding your iPhone in your right hand and you're holding an iPad in your left hand and you're beaming yourself up, going through one screen, then the second screen, then the third screen, overstimulating yourself, then chances are once you remove all these screens, you're not gonna fall asleep. You can take 10 pills of sleeping pills. You're not gonna go sleep that night because of overstimulation. However, if you don't overstimulate yourself, but instead you go to sleep calmly and peacefully, that is when you actually fall asleep normally and naturally. It's not about screens. Yeah, they have a little bit of effect on melatonin. I'm not gonna go into that, but the big thing is they don't fuck up your sleep. You can watch YouTube, you can watch Netflix before bed. It is cool. What is not cool is overstimulating yourself too much. That is the big key here. It's the difference between overstimulation and going to bed calmly, falling into sleep. That's what we want to do. We want to fall into sleep. Now, so what happened to Julia? The sleep vampire's teeth are at her neck. Did they pierce? Well, Oasis is a sleep vampire's teeth that night. They did not pierce Julia's neck. So Oasis, angered, she went out and she flew back to her realm. Why did Oasis's teeth did not pierce Julia's neck? Well, because Julia did not overstimulate herself. Yes, she watched a video, yes, she read a book, but she was not overstimulating herself with extra thoughts in her head or with extra being on multiple devices at the same time. She was focusing on one thing, being there, and slowly, gradually, progressively she went to normal, restful sleep. So, that is it. That is it. That is our killer. This is who it wasn't. Let me see now, do we have something else I want to talk about with you today? These are the big ones. These are the big ones. Now, the only problem, by the way, is when it comes to light, whether it's blue light or let me rephrase that. When it comes to sleep, blue light is obviously not the only suspect, not the only thing that can cause you bad sleep. There are many different killers, which I'm kind of thinking of making this a thing, making an episode where we have a sleep killer. Would you like that? Comment down below. So there are many different ones. How do you protect yourself against all of them? Well, the best way that I found to protect your sleep from the teeth of the sleep vampire, so you sleep normally, restfully, is this: becoming a resilience man. And what is a resilience man? A resilience man is somebody like this guy, the Rock thing. I cannot remember his name. Ben from the Fantastic Four. He has resilient skin. When a vampire tries to sink their teeth into a rock, what happens? Those teeth break off. You want to be resilient like this man. Like Ben from the Fantastic Four made of rock resilience. And how do you become a resilience man? Well, the same way Batman became Batman, by practice. There are certain practices when it comes to your brain and your body, practices we do during the day, that after we do them to become resilient, and that protects our sleep, that puts us in a natural sleep state during the night, so we have a normal restful night. So you want to make sure you are resistant to the sleep vampire and all of her minions, all the other things that can kill your sleep. Become a resilience man. That is it. And if you're curious, oh, how do I do that? I'll leave some information down in the description that you can check out as well. And that is it for today's episode now. Coming up next, we have some interesting, exciting things. Let me just check what I've written down here. Yes! On November 23rd, for the grand finale of our series, we see Phobos and Morpheus next to Somnus's bed, sitting, standing, and looking at their dad, the king of sleep. And the king of sleep, Somnus, Hypnus, is laying on his bed and he cannot sleep. That is right. The king of sleep cannot sleep. How did that happen? How did a wise as a sleep vampire cause Somnus to go there? Well, tune in on December 23rd to find out. And actually, before that, I believe on December 18th already, I'm gonna give some bits and pieces of information of how that's gonna happen. But we have some weeks coming up till that. Next time, December 9th, coming up episode 6 of the Sleep series. Make sure after you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell down below to get notified as soon as our next episode airs up. So, this is it for today on our Sleep channel. I'll see you very soon. My name is Coach Vukan. Have a good night and have a very, very good day.